So welcome everyone to the March 10th, 2022 Inspiring Author Conversations. I'm Kathy Davis with Davis Creative Publishing Partners, and today we're speaking with Bob Baker about how to use YouTube to reach a global audience. Before we welcome Bob, I just want to remind everybody of a few logistics. The first thing is we are being recorded. You'll receive a link to the YouTube video within about 48 hours after the call. Your attendance at these meetings serves as your permission to be seen in these recordings. Please keep yourself muted unless we ask you to unmute. Please find your chat button on your screen, usually down at the lower level, and type any questions you have into the chat box. And as Bob's doing his thing, I will be watching that chat box and make sure we get your questions answered. And as I mentioned earlier, we promise to end the call about noon or shortly thereafter so we can all get back to business. So welcome, Bob Baker. Bob is on a mission to transform and uplift humanity, one positive thought, one inspired action at a time. His YouTube channel has more than 250,000 subscribers and logs 1 million+ views per month. He reaches a global audience with morning affirmations, guided meditations, and inspirational spoken word content. Bob is also a prolific author with 16 published books, a podcaster, a musician, visual artist, and an improv comedy teacher performer. Welcome, Bob.
Well, hello, Kathy. It's good to reconnect with you. We've known each other a number of years now.
A couple decades, probably, yeah.
Yeah, we were just saying before the recording how when I first met you, you were just like working on your second book cover. I think I don't know if that was.
Yeah, that was. I think we did that book that we were talking with you about in maybe 2008-ish, somewhere.
Wow, that was a while
2007.
back.
That was a
Wow.
good
So
while back.
yeah. So it's good to see you, and thanks for everyone for joining us here on Zoom. I see Joanne and Carol and Kim and Lisa and Deborah, Patty, Adrian, and Samantha, the ones that I can see on my screen here. So yeah, so to be able to compact this, normally I do workshops at least an hour. I think I've done a couple of workshops on YouTube, something more like 2.5 hours. So I'm going to have to condense things. So I did. So yeah, we'll kind of jump into it right now. And I believe I can share my screen. Let me know. Are you seeing that there, Kathy? How to use YouTube?
I can see your screen. I see the YouTube logo.
All right, cool. And you see how to use YouTube to reach a global audience. So that's the title of this, and let's rock and roll here. Well, first of all, you kind of covered that in the bio. Up until 4 or 5 years ago, before this kind of chapter of my life that I'm going to be talking about, I was pretty active in the arts and as an author. I know you obviously attract a lot of authors here. I have actually published 16 physical books over the years. Of those 16 books, 14 of them I independently published myself. 2 of them were published by other smaller companies that have since gone away. So I'm very DIY, very independent minded, and encourage others to do the same thing. My books have covered topics like music marketing and inspiration for creative people and authors and so on. Also a musician, as you mentioned, visual artist, and teach and perform improv comedy. So done a lot of things in the arts. Now, I originally got on YouTube in 2006, which is like 16 years ago. It's amazing how mature this online environment is. And so and it was a second year that it was in existence. I think YouTube was founded, I think, in 2005. So I got on it like a year into it. And for the first decade, this is like an old screenshot. For the first decade, I had a whole wide range, of hodgepodge of things related to my life, related to my books, my music, the comedy, personal and family stuff. You know, it was a holiday Christmas video that we did there. And somehow over that decade, I managed to build up to about maybe 4,000 subscribers, because it was, the internet just wasn't as crowded as it was. But then about 5 years ago, became more and more intrigued with YouTube and started paying more attention to it, but being more like playful and experimental. And I've started posting some spoken word affirmations and guided meditations and things like that. And one of the reasons I was seeking these things out myself, I was a consumer of a lot of actually audio content on YouTube, and I was not really happy with some of the affirmations and meditation. Like, you really have to like resonate with the person's voice if you're really going to benefit from that type of material, and I thought to myself, I wonder, I know my way around a microphone. I've been podcasting for years. I have the equipment, and so I started posting these things just out of curiosity, and noticed that they were getting more views than my regular videos. So I went in and I did more of them, and I just kind of, and slowly but surely, the channel evolved and grew into what it is today. This is a screenshot, I guess, from a couple years ago. Whoops, hang on a second here. And so this is a screenshot I actually took this morning. Again, about 5 years ago, I had like 4,000 subscribers. The channel has grown to now, like, I think this morning it's 268,000 subscribers, more than 1 million views per month across the entire channel. You'll notice here, these are my most popular videos based on views. I have 6 videos that have more than 1 million views each. The most popular one has 5.2 million, followed by 3.2 million, and so on. And it's just blown my mind. I had, because I know, Kathy, you've known me for a long time. I used to be president of the St. Louis Publishers Association, and I had a modest amount of success, and people kind of locally looked up to me as someone who had achieved some success as an author. But this whole thing with reaching a global audience through these affirmations is like, it's 10 times what I experienced years ago. And so it's basically, it's opened up this whole new chapter of my life that I never saw coming. And it started off with me being this playful and experimental and putting out something that I was looking for and couldn't find, at least in abundance, and started and just posting these things. And now I got people like, why is title How to Reach a Global Audience? Because I literally have people around the world who every morning will queue up one of my recordings and listen to that. And it's impacted people's lives in just ways beyond what I ever thought was possible. I also take the audio content and I put them, there's a podcast on Spotify and Apple and so on called the Affirmation Meditation Podcast. That's growing in popularity. I take collections of these audios and I publish them as digital, like albums that you can stream, just like you would stream music on Spotify and all these other sites. And so I've taken this and just trying to use all the available means to get this material out into the world to inspire people. So I'm happy to share in the time that we have here my story there and best practices. Let's see here. Whoops, what happened? I think I skipped a slide there. So what makes YouTube unique? YouTube, I love YouTube. And another thing I should mention is that actually, since I monetize my videos, YouTube will split any ad revenue they collect with the creator if you sign up to do that. And it's the primary way that I make a living. And so I'm supporting our household through this type of work, which is another what better way to serve than to make an impact in people's lives and make money doing it. So I love YouTube for that reason, but because it's different than any other social platform, totally different than Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, TikTok, and so on. So what makes YouTube unique is that people go there to search for things. They look for stuff. You probably already know that YouTube is owned by Google, and Google is the #1 search engine in the world. And YouTube is the second most popular place that people go to look for things. It's a repository of information and entertainment and all kinds of stuff. And the really cool thing about it that I really love, it kind of frustrates me about other platforms, is that the content on YouTube has a long shelf life. If I go back and show you those most popular, or actually if I look in my analytics in my dashboard on YouTube and look at the most popular, most viewed videos like in the past month, so this, what's currently being viewed a lot, they're videos from 2-3 years ago, some of them. I mean, I have some more recent ones that are doing well too, but it has a long shelf life. So as long as you have content that's relevant, they're going to keep serving that up and you can reach people for a long time. That's not the case on Facebook, TikTok. I mean, it's so fleeting, it's so quick, and you have to constantly be cranking out more stuff. I do some of that and have been very active online. So I don't curse that we have to create content, but I love the long-term, long shelf life aspect of YouTube. Let me see. Oh, yes.
A quick question.
Sure.
Do you ever go back and clean out some of the old videos and take them off of YouTube, or is it better to leave everything out there?
I have left. So yeah, for the first, I still have all my art, everything that I've ever created. Unless, I mean, the only reason I would take something down is if it was like a promotion that was based on a specific time, I might take that down. But no, everything I've created over the years is still there. It's in the archives. They don't get many views. And I also divide things up into playlists. There's a playlist feature. So people, if they just want to look at my music marketing stuff, they can look at that. I also have like a book promotion playlist of things I've done in that on that topic, comedy, music, and then I have playlists for the topics of the affirmation. So I personally keep them up unless there's a really good reason to justify deleting them. Might as well just keep them up, and people might. There was somebody who really was a big fan who said they went back to the beginning and like watching all all of my videos, like hundreds of them there. So it's going to take her a while. So no, if it's helpful, I keep them up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So let's see here. So basically, to be successful on YouTube, since people go there to search for things, you must set yourself up to be discovered by people searching for your specific thing or your specific topic. And I'll do as much, touch on that as much as I possibly can. I think before you go too much further, it's actually a really good idea just to ask yourself what are your YouTube goals, because really what you want to do with a YouTube channel. And I don't even know, I could have asked here. I don't know how many. Let me actually see just real quickly a show of hands. How many people already have a YouTube channel, even if you don't have much on it? Just physically raise your hand so I could see you in the. So okay. Yeah, we got okay. Actually, most of you, which is probably why you're here. So you're not completely starting from scratch, but ask yourself. These are just some of the goals that you might have, and that's going to dictate the actions that you take. Maybe you just want to reach more people and make an impact, which is great. And you don't have to worry, and you're not worried about maybe the monetization aspect of it. Maybe you want to monetize your videos directly, like I do, and in that case, you have to be a YouTube partner. I'll show you what's involved in that. You can monetize your videos indirectly, like promoting products. You could promote your books in them, and then they will go to Amazon or to your website to get them. You could promote, use it as a lead generator for consulting, for speaking, and you don't have to have a huge following to do those things. There are a lot of people that have modest subscribers or views, but they get enough leads, I guess, from their that it's profitable. You can use it to build a mailing list, to build brand awareness, or just to have fun. So all of those are valid. It's just knowing what your goal is with your channel. Just make sure that your actions are leading you toward that, or in alignment with it. Let's see here. Let me go to the. So I want to point out a couple of mistakes that people make. So one mistake that you can make with the YouTube channel is just a fuzzy focus, and that's actually what I did for the first decade. I was, like I said, I was all over the map. It was a reflection of the many aspects of my life, but it wasn't focused on any one thing, and so. When I did focus on this thing that was popular, yeah, the channel grew exponentially. So these are typical marketing topics, but just, know what your core topic or your theme is. What is that? And who's your target audience? And identifying their biggest problems and their greatest aspirations, and making sure that your videos address those things with clarity. You're really clear about these four things, you're going to set yourself up to be more successful with your channel. Let's see here. Now, here's a YouTube insight. So at first, if your channel is new or you're just trying to grow it, you're like, to get views, a couple things are happening. You're driving traffic there yourself, maybe through your email newsletter, from other social media sites. You're making people aware, trying to drive people that already follow you to the video, and you're hoping that you come up in search. We'll talk a little again about that. I'm going to get to some details about that. The time is flying though. But things really kick in when YouTube starts recommending you, and this takes time. That's one thing I really want to get up. This is not there's no quick fix things with YouTube. It took me, I've been at it for 5 years now, and I saw growth there, but it took me just consistently staying at it to grow the channel. But when you get to the point where YouTube starts recommending your videos, especially when people are watching other like popular similar videos, that's when I saw things really kick into gear. So, but that takes time to get to that place, to get into the good graces, I guess, of their algorithm. Let's see here. So the action steps that I recommend are that you publish often. If you want to be serious about YouTube, you don't have to be. If you do it for fun, just publish something whenever you feel like it, and that's fine. But if you want to take it, if you really want to grow a channel and grow your impact, I would publish often. I would say at least once a week. If you can do twice a week, even better. Like for years now, I've been publishing pieces of two affirmation or guided meditation things a week, usually Monday and Thursday morning. Those go up. Those are pre-recorded and edited. And then for the past year or so, Pookie, my significant other, some of you may know her in St. Louis, she and I stream live every Sunday mornings, and do a live stream and interact with people in the comments. So that's 3 pieces of content or new material every week, and I've been doing that for years. So publish often, but if you can only once a week, test a lot of titles and angles. It's really a playful experimentation. Don't just have a little sense of fun with it. Then when you discover that something's working, double down on the topics, the phrases, the keywords, and the thumbnails, which is the visual image of the video, that are the ones that work. This is a gal named Vanessa Lau, I think is how you pronounce her last name. And this is from a couple of years ago, but she started a YouTube channel talking about a variety of things related to like running your own business, being self-employed, social media marketing. And she noticed her first video that really took off was about Instagram. I think it was that growth hacks one up there. And so she smartly said, "Whoa, Instagram is what's popular." So she made a whole series of videos on Instagram related things about growing your following, and so you can just see there in this list that was of her most popular videos that a lot of them are about Instagram. So you basically you double down on the topics that are working and just hit it from different angles, which is what I did with my own. I've discovered early on that morning affirmations were very popular. So I did a lot of, so I've kind of become the morning affirmations king on YouTube. And then I realized I paid attention to what was getting attention. The topics like abundance, gratitude, success, confidence, those things were resonating with people. So I've done a lot of videos, their entire playlists on those. And so it's not the same thing over and over again. I change up the wording of the affirmations, the approach, the format. Lately, I've been putting affirmations over music and actually singing them using my musical skills. And so I hit people from different angles, even though that they're the same topics. And so you can do the same thing. Another YouTube mistake is to shoot first and consider the title later. And so, you just record something, and then a lot of times a big mistake I see is just like the title is like the last thing they think of, and often if it's vague or clever or whatever, it's just not going to serve you very well. So what I encourage you to do some simple keyword research and actually come up with a list of titles, and then sit down and record the videos that live up to the promise of that title, because there's a good likelihood that they may do well. So how do you do that? I'm going to give you some free ways of discovering topics and titles for your videos. Now I'm using here, I know each of you have your own topic based on your books and whatever the good is that you do in the world. I'm just I randomly used, when I originally did this, voice training. So first of all, let's start with YouTube. There's a thing you may know of. It's called auto suggest when you're searching. So you go to YouTube and you start typing in a topic. It's trying to anticipate what you're looking for. So if I put in voice training for space, it's giving me all of these suggestions for beginners, for singers, for trans women, for speaking, for classical music actors, so on, for a deeper voice. So it's trying to so it's trying to save you time by anticipating the phrase that you're going for. But what this is also telling you is these are topics that people are searching for. So based on the history, these are do any of these. So do that for your own topic and use different types of phrases. You could also do singing lessons for, so there's different ways of wording it, but look to what it's auto suggesting. And is there one of these topics that you can address for your own topic? So that's auto suggest. Let's say, I forgot which example I used. Whoops. Oh yeah. Consider using similar wording as the most popular videos for a particular search term. So let's assume that you went, you chose one of those phrases, like vocal exercises or training for beginners, let's just say. I think that's what I use for this search term. So actually hit search, then you're going to get a page of results. Start looking at the page of results and see what if they spark any ideas of how you can do a similar video. Another thing that I do too is you'll notice like this professional warm-up, vocal warm-up one has 12 million views, and that video is from 5 years ago. So watch that video again if this is your topic, but do it for your topic, and watch that video and say, "Can I put a different spin on this? Use a similar approach, tweak the title." You're not plagiarizing. You're not just redoing it, but you're hitting it from a different angle. So they might reward you because this has proven itself successful. If you have a similar topic and it's newer, fresher, it might come up in search or as a recommended video when people watch this one. So those are two things that you can do just right on YouTube within YouTube to do a little keyword research. Now, since YouTube is owned by Google, if you go over to Google and do the same thing, voice training for, and look at the auto suggest things on Google are going to be very similar, but you are going to give some different ones. Like here's for podcasters or for preachers, for executives. Again, are there any of those auto suggest things for your phrase or your topic? Is this something that you can speak to? That will give you some ideas for titles. Also, anytime you do a search, so go ahead and pick one of those phrases, do a search, and there'll be a page of results. Scroll to the bottom and of any Google search, and it'll say searches related to this phrase. It's showing you other phrases related to the thing you just searched for, which is letting you know these are other common things that people search for related to this topic. That might inspire. Yeah, if you were, I mean, you could literally come up with 20 different things just for this voice training, how to sing for beginners, step by step, how to sing in key, lessons for beginners, so, and you could just do separate videos on each of these things. So there's a little bonus insight. So never forget YouTube's ultimate goal. So of course its ultimate goal is to make money, be profitable, keep people on the platform as long as possible. But to do that, to be able to reach their goals, they have to make sure that they are delivering value to the people that come to YouTube. So how do they do that? They want to serve up relevant content. When you come there, they want you to find what you're looking for as quickly as possible, and then to be happy with the videos that you find, and so happy that you'll probably go to the next video that they recommend or another related video, and they will keep you on the platform, just keep serving you up valuable stuff. And so keep that in mind. How can you create videos that are of value that will not only keep people watching yours, but maybe even lead to them watching more videos on YouTube? And then there's another Google tip here. Use the actual questions that people search for as your titles. And so going back to the Google search, when you search something on Google, we talked about auto suggest that you get at the top as you're typing. We talked about the related searches that you find at the bottom. But for some years now, right in the middle of the searches, they say people also ask. Again, related to the voice thing. How can I improve my speaking voice? How can I improve my speaking voice naturally? Do voice lessons help with speech? Can you train your voice to sound? So these are all common questions that people seek out. Those would be potentially great actual titles for videos, so that when people are searching for those things, if you match that question, it's probably eventually, it won't happen immediately, but over time, those might start coming up when people are searching for those things. So those are some like this free sort of I don't know if I'm going to call them hacks, but to find ideas for your titles. I know we're coming up to the top of the hour. Do you want me to just blast through a couple more of these, Kathy? And then, oops, I think you're muted there.
Unmute to hear me. Yeah, I would say keep going. And I just want to remind everybody, if you have questions, just type it into the chat and I'll make sure that we get those questions asked.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I have more. I knew I had more slides here than we probably had time for, but I'm not going to show everything. But I think maybe this next couple we can wrap it up and then see about some questions. So there's different ways of presenting on YouTube. The first thing everybody thinks of is probably you speaking into the camera. And you might think, and And there's a couple of things that could come up there. You might not feel comfortable doing that. So that is something but it's something that you can maybe play with offline, get comfortable doing that because you on a phone in particular, you don't want to look at the screen. You want to find out where your actual camera lens is and look into the lens so that you're looking in the person's eye. That's one thing. And there also you might think that, oh, I need a slick production, I got to hire a camera crew. Well, no, just use everybody. A smartphone. A lot of people can start with a smartphone. Just even if it's like that selfie mode. But I would encourage you to try to get comfortable doing that. However, you can do stuff without you being on. You could do a voiceover with still images. You could do a voiceover. There are people that have like unboxing videos where you never see them, but they show you cooking or whatever, where you just see the thing that they're doing or they're talking about. And you hear their voice, but you're not seeing them necessarily on camera. So again, it has to match up whatever your topic is, if that works for you. Oh, and then the interview thing, like Kathy's doing here. Yeah, the interview series, interview people in your fields, and you'll attract fans of those people. That's another, I've used that technique a lot through my podcast and through even my video channel. I did a creative entrepreneur video series with just people and musicians and authors and so on. And so think about that. And then this is probably really important, especially if you are on camera, but even if you're not, this is like the video script template. What you want to do as soon as the video starts, you want to tell them what they're going to get. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 ways to do this, that, and the other thing. If there's this, I don't know if you know what like a short little bumper. Sometimes these channels, they have like a slick little 3 to 5 second thing that shows their logo and little quick music. If you have one of those, you could hire somebody to do it. You can add one of those there. And then you come back in, whether you use the bumper or not, say, hi, I'm Fred Smith, and on my channel, I do this, that, and the other thing. And then say, if you don't already, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you never miss it. So this is like a really common technique. And so you want to tease them up front, let them know what they're getting so they'll stick around. And then introduce yourself, what the channel is about, encourage them to subscribe. And then get in and then deliver whatever that content is, whatever that tip or that thing is that you're going to deliver to them. You can ask for comments. You want engagement, so encourage them to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this thing that I just discussed. Encourage them to like it and share it. Try to have a primary call to action. I wouldn't like bombard them. I make the mistake of doing this a lot where I bombard people with too many things, but maybe think of a primary action that you want them to do with each video and ask them to do it. It could be to subscribe, it could be to attend, sign up, buy, support us, whatever, go to Amazon, and then let them know that you have links in the description, because you can put a lot of text in the description of your video, and then sign off. And so that's like a nice, especially, well, depending on what you're doing. My videos don't use this because I do a different thing. I'm doing affirmations, and I'm not on screen, actually. Actually, yeah, I'm a great example of you rarely see my face on my affirmation and guided meditations. I'm using imagery, and it's mainly an audio thing, because 80% of the people with my content don't even watch it. They're listening while they're driving, while they're sitting with their eyes closed. So mine's a different animal there. And
Bob,
so I think
we do have some questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen and go so I can see So I'm gonna.
Okay. So I think the first one, real question, Deb Weltman, are you interested in new guided meditation material from others like me?
Yeah. You mean like you? Deborah, okay, like using your voice? You mean, Deborah? Or
go ahead and unmute, Deb.
No, others that I've written. I did just record a couple recently, and they're going to go on my website, but I have a number that I've written over the years, and I just didn't know if you were always looking for new material.
I mean, I generally create it myself. I'd be happy. You're welcome to send it to me, and I'll certainly look at it and consider it. But I can't. But primarily I'm either creating it myself or with Pookie, and so I don't know if I would use it, but I'd be open to look at it.
I will send. Thank you.
Awesome, sure.
And Bob, I don't know if you have met Trish Hall. Trish is a CSL minister out on the East Coast.
Oh, no. Oh, hi, Trish.
Has several questions here. Trish, why don't you just unmute yourself and Ask in person.
We prefer, Pookie and I perform at our local CSL once a month. That's where I know Carol from. Yeah. Go ahead and find
I
that
think you're
unmute
on
button.
mute.
Let's see.
There she is.
I was going back through my list of questions that I was so diligently posting. Let's see. Thoughts on using memes? And you answered it for your own because you're doing a voice background with some sort of image. And so other use of memes, do you like it or not?
And by memes, what do you, how are you defining memes?
Images with information or a meditation theme or anything like that.
Yeah, boy, I've evolved over the years. I had way too much, like if I look at, as is common, if I look at things that I published 3 years ago, I cringe a little bit because I've really upped the visual quality of it a lot. And I used to like rotate through still images, and a lot of them have calls to actions. And since most people don't watch it, it wasn't a big deal, but some people were turned off by the constant barrage of subscribe to the channel. So I now put those things in a little less frequently. And I have access to some stock. There's a lot of places where you can download free photos and videos, including Canva, which I love. Canva is also what I use to create my thumbnails, which we really haven't talked about. But I have a separate, a library of video footage that I pay for, since it makes sense for me to do that now. So that's where I just find each video, I'm finding videos appropriate for that theme, and I reuse a lot of the same ones too.
With your meditations, do you recommend live or pre-records?
You whatever works for you. So let's see here. Live is easy. So live is intimidating for a lot of people, but it is easier because it's like one and done. Like but you have to, as long as you're secure and having the sound quality and not a lot of background noise or whatever. But if you can learn to edit and upload stuff, and that's a learning curve. I already knew some of this stuff before, because I've been using YouTube, like I said, since 2005, and even before that was using crude visual or video software to do home videos and stuff. So I had a little bit of a knowledge of it, but so I would play around with it, experiment. Yeah, learn the software, go live. There's also a thing that called shorts now, where you can use your phone, and they're vertical, so they're trying to compete with TikTok, where you just record like 15 to 30 seconds or whatever on your phone and can upload those. Those are super easy. You just want to get your feet wet, and they're pushing shorts a lot. I haven't had much success with them because people typically like the longer affirmation stuff. I hope that kind of helps.
That's a good segue into the next one, which I know somebody else asked, and that is have you found ideal posting link, your video link, either for meditations or for your affirmations?
So yeah, length is really specific to what you're delivering, the value of the content of each individual video. Because I know a lot of you are not, I don't know, you may be wanting to do affirmations, but some of you are maybe wanting to do more stuff related to books that are outside of this realm. And so, on one hand, with the short attention spans, there's a point of view with, where short is better. However, if you can keep people watching your video, if it's engaging enough, whether it's an affirmation or you just a how-to, where you're going through a series of steps on something and it keeps people engaged, make it as long as it needs to be. I tend to have a sweet spot of around the 10-minute range for most of my stuff, but I don't know how much you've sought these things out, but there are like these sleep affirmation things that are like 8 hours long on YouTube, and there are some really successful channels, or they have really long ones that people just kind of play in the background. I haven't really gotten into those. I tend to be morning affirmations for people that want to take 10 to 15 minutes. And that's kind of my sweet spot as far as what I want to create and what resonates with my audience. But that doesn't mean there's not long form stuff out there. A lot of people do longer. I think it's really depends on what you're creating, what your audience wants.
We have a 45-minute meditation weekday mornings, and it's on Zoom. And so I've been considering whether or not it would be portable over to YouTube.
Yeah, just record it and upload it and try it. That and see how people respond to it. I mean, you can stream live to YouTube while you're doing Zoom live.
Yes,
Or,
you
or
can.
you can or you can just upload the video.
Yeah.
I think I see Carol's hand up there.
I wonder
And
if I could ask a couple of other editing related questions, but I don't know where the flow is, if there are other questions still in the chat.
Kim Carr had a question.
Is that the voiceover still image one?
Yeah, maybe we answered that.
I don't know how to do
Kim-
voiceover still
Kim, did you
images.
get your question answered? Go ahead and unmute, Kim, if you got.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I shoot video when I'm out on the farm and stuff like that, just with my iPhone, but I've never done any editing or anything. And I'd like to know, is there a program that you use, like if you do still images? Because I have tons of still images. I would love to be able to piece together and do a video or a voiceover, but I don't know how.
Yeah, and there are some technical learning curves. So I know there are a lot of apps that you can use if you're on an iPhone. I mean, there's Movie Maker, which I think is also they have I think there's an app phone version of that. I tend to like working on a desktop when I'm editing. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people can edit full videos on their phone, but I like to do it on a desktop. I have an iMac here. I use some software that's not super common, but I really just love it a lot. It's called ScreenFlow. It's for the Mac only. But Movie Maker comes with Mac, which I don't know if there's a cost to that or not. I haven't used Movie Maker in a long time. Then there's just tons of options. Different people use different things. I wish I had a specific.
An easy solution might be, I know some people do, and Trish mentioned it here. They start with PowerPoint. There's an option in PowerPoint that you can turn those slides into a video. I don't know how to do it, but you could play around with it. I'm sure it can't be that difficult.
It's pretty easy to put.
Canva. I'm sorry.
It's just pretty easy to put your images from Canva into PowerPoint and put music or voice over it.
Yeah, I use the paid version of Canva. I pay like $12.95 a month. So I'm not sure what's available, how that differs from the free version. But Canva is just an amazing tool, and I know I think you might be able to create videos using Canva too. I just don't know if that comes with the free version or if you have to pay.
Yeah.
But I love it for so many reasons.
So Lisa Dahlgren mentions Vimeo. I don't know enough about that. And then I want to make sure we get back to Carol, and because you had several questions. So maybe a comment about Vimeo, if anybody knows anything about that, and then we'll pull Carol in and make sure we get her questions answered.
Yeah. So Vimeo is another prominent video platform. I think it's mostly, I get the impression that it's used for businesses. It's another place to host it where you have a little bit more control over it. You can't really monetize it like you can. I don't think like YouTube. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience with Vimeo, but it's a solid platform for certain uses. Yeah.
And then it looks like Carol accidentally, the winds in Mexico must be wild today.
Yeah,
She woke
the
up, but now
Baja
she's
winds.
back. Yeah.
And she's
Okay.
back.
Yeah, the storm is blowing up a little bit bigger now.
Well, let's take time for Carol, and then let's go to Samantha Nays after that.
So my questions are about editing also, but I have a lot of content already, Bob. You might know that I recorded like once a week for 15 minutes live when I first went on the road, and I have over a year of that. And I'm trying to create like montages with clips from different ones to get them down to 3 to 5 minutes, something that somebody might really quickly watch. And my first, I paid somebody who I knew had some videography skills and had worked in that field, but she's using, I think, really primitive software. And so the transitions are jumpy. She can't add any like music on the intro or anything fancy. And I'm not sure whether what I need to do is invest more at a higher level of technology or say the original clips aren't good enough to use for this.
Hmm.
And I just wondered if, what's the if I can only get a title slide versus, different kinds of headings and different kinds of information in text onto pieces of the video, but I can only get one kind. How much is it worth to me to go up a level, I guess, is what I'm really trying to sense.
Yeah, I know it gets tricky when you
Should
have to
I-
pay somebody to do that for you and you're not
Yeah, I can't-
monetizing the channel. And
I'm
you-
not going to become an expert in this. No.
Yeah, so that and maybe that's part of the gatekeeper aspect of this is not everyone depending on what you're wanting to do is yeah, there's you either have to learn it to do it yourself or you have to pay somebody to do it, and that might not be in the cards for everyone. I say if you can initially maybe start with short videos and just do raw unedited stuff, or go live like Pookie, like my significant other. She's really very good on video, but she doesn't know how to edit, and I don't always have the time to do it for her. So she goes live a lot. She just goes live and whatever, and she actually likes that because it puts under pressure her to keep going because if she's offline, she'll stop and want to start again, and then she has to edit the two pieces together. So just do short stuff that you don't need to edit initially, as maybe you learn it and figure out how to do the editing.
Well, I think
I want to
yeah.
bring Samantha in here too, because we actually have a video expert on the call today.
Oh, good.
Samantha, can you unmute and chime in?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I posted in there in case anybody wants to reach out. I have a couple of clients that I do this for, and typically how we keep the costs low are we create a template. So if you're doing a series of videos, I'll get with you and say, okay, what do we want the intro to look like and sound like? What kind of music do we want? Do you want professional voiceover? And we put together that intro, that outro, kind of the style that you want as a template. And then each time you do a video, you just drop the raw footage in, and it literally only takes a couple of minutes for us to slap it into the template and get it back to you.
Nice.
And then like the cost of getting it set up depends on how fancy and professional you want it to be. But once that's set up, the cost of doing each video is so minuscule. I recommend that you send over multiple at a time. You can do 2 or 3 recordings, drop them over, and we can get them back to you the next day. So it kind of depends. I'd be happy to talk with any of you about what it would take to get something like that set up.
We could always have Samantha back for her own lunch and learn too. So-
Samantha, it looks like you're in St. Louis based on the area code of the phone number there. Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I've known Samantha almost as long as Bob.
Nice.
Kim has a great question that ties in with all of this. How do you get paid for posting videos? Does your YouTube channel, can it be a profit center for you?
Oh yeah, well that's the main way I make a living and support our household. I think I skipped over a slide. It was
Did we miss somebody?
earlier.
Oh, in your slideshow. Okay.
So if you want to, I'll just tell you though. So to be able to monetize through advertising on YouTube, you have to be a YouTube partner. To be a YouTube partner, you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers. You have to have 4,000 hours of watch time over the past 12 months. Once you hit that criteria, you can apply, and then you have to have an associated like AdSense account, which is free. Then once you hit that or hit those criteria, you apply to be a partner, and then you just wait weeks or whatever until somebody looks over the channel, approves you, and then you can start monetizing your videos, which means you just allow YouTube to run ads on the videos that you select. You can't determine who's advertising or anything else about it, but they will run ads on them, and then they actually give the creator like 55% of whatever ad revenue they create. And for a small channel, it's not going to add up. I mean, 4 years or 5 years ago, I was lucky to make $20 a month. But once your views get up, then it can add up. But you got to grow your channel for that. So that's the way to directly monetize it through ad revenue. Then there's the indirect ways that I talked about, where you're using your videos to generate leads for book sales and coaching and different things like that.
Great. Did anybody have a question that we accidentally skipped, or any additional questions? Just want to make sure we don't leave anybody out.
I
least
just
it was.
have one
Oh,
real quick one. As
sure.
far as the ads go, I know when I watch YouTube videos, it drives me crazy sometimes when the ads, pop up like throughout the video. Do you choose where the ads fall? How does that work?
Yeah, so you can select. I don't have a screenshot of it, but you can select if they're going to show before the video. If it's 8 minutes or longer, then you can click a button that it will show could potentially show another ad afterwards. And then also you can opt in or out of showing it in the middle. Like I would not want an ad popping up in the middle of a guided meditation, so I just deselect that. It doesn't work for my videos, so I don't select that. But I run them on the end, and I run them. I'm sorry, I run them at the beginning. And if they're over 8 minutes, I run them at the end, as long as they're not a nighttime. If they're a sleep or a relaxation one, I don't want an ad popping up at the end. So I deselect that button for that video. So you have a lot of control over each individual video. There's default settings that you have set up that'll apply when you upload something new, and then you could tweak it to what you want that video to represent.
Great. I
Yeah.
also want to add, Kim, I just had this idea. Kim is writing a book about Dandelion, her pet chicken that sleeps in the house at night. And you could interview Dandelion on a video. And and tell stories, vocally tell your stories with Dandelion sitting there in your lap. That would be kind of cute.
Yeah.
I don't think
there-
anybody
I
else
might
is
have to
doing
do
that
that.
out there.
I think there are channels where people read, you read children's books, and
And you're writing a book. Yeah. You read it, reading time with Dandelion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know, Bob, you mentioned earlier that you have a gift for all the listeners today.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
And
Actually,
even if you don't recall, we have the link. So
oh, good. What did I? Did I
says
send you something
six-
ahead of time? I'm so sorry. I forgot.
That's okay. We pre-plan these, people. So
That's right. It was weeks ago.
6 of Bob's favorite guided meditation and
Yes.
affirmation recordings. And everyone on the call will get the link. If you have signed up for the recording, you'll also get that link to Bob's free giveaway.
Oh, good.
What would be your parting wisdom today, Bob?
Yeah. So you don't have to monetize. You don't have to get 1 million views to make YouTube successful. I think really it's focus on what do you want to do with YouTube? And if you just want to have fun with it and just post stuff to get your word out there, then there's no pressure to be professional or have to do it every week. But I love that there is a lot of opportunity. And if you did want to take it seriously and dedicate yourself to posting every week, and if you could do that for a year, like without seeing a lot of results early on, and just sort of stick with it, I think it could. There's no guarantees, but it could pay off, and maybe you could reach a global audience like I am.
That's terrific. That's awesome. I know, Bob, we could probably spend all afternoon talking. Excuse me. But we'll have to get you back on another topic. There seems to be a lot of interest in everything you'd like to share. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
It's trying to be spring in St. Louis today, but tomorrow it's going to snow.
I see.
Yeah, so,
I see Joanne had her hand up there.
Joanne, please go ahead.
I just had one more idea of what you can do with your videos too on your YouTube channels. Kathy and I put out these magazines, dynamic digital magazines, and a lot of times with somebody that has their one sheet or their speaker sheet as their ad, and then we always put links in it so you can go to their video. We have people that do their TED Talks, their podcasts, all kinds of stuff. So it's another cool way, because we send it to 317,000 people to
Wow.
get your video in front of people.
Very nice. Yeah, you can also repurpose a podcast and just put up an image. Yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do.
Bob, one question. Hi, Bob.
Oh, hi,
Old
Kathy.
friend. I
Yeah.
just wanted to say, I just wanted to mention that Bob is also an author of many books as well, like on the guerrilla music marketing and all that. And I'm wondering, are you still selling a lot of your old books?
So thanks. Yeah. So Kathy and I go way back. So
Enterprise days.
good. I thought I saw your name pop up when I was
Yeah.
sharing my screen.
Yeah.
So those yeah, they still sell a trickle. So yeah, it's kind of like I'm still involved in music marketing. I'm an adjunct professor at Lindenwood University. I teach a marketing class there every spring, which I'm doing now. We meet once a week, and I have a music marketing podcast, but that kind of, yeah, it's my focus these days is on this inspiring a more general audience with these affirmations. It's the primary thing that I do. I see myself doing probably for the rest of my days. So yeah, I was early on, yeah, with this music marketing thing back in the 90s and early 2000s. And so I'm still kind of known as I guess a pioneer, but an aging one, perhaps. And so they don't sell as well as they did back, yeah, when we first knew each other. But there's still a trickle of sales, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Terrific. You have lots of ripples going out there, Bob.
I do.
Greatly appreciate those positive ripples. So thank everyone for being here today. We will see you again in 2 weeks, same time, same space. March 24th, we'll be talking with Nigel Lear. Bob may know him. He and Amy are affiliated with CSL also, but he'll be talking about, he immigrated here, married, he's from Britain, married his wife, Amy, and they live out in Crèvecoeur, I think, but he has a book called 3 Steps to Successful Online Marketing. And we will be interviewing him coming up on March 24th at 11:30 on our Lunch and Learn. And Bob, now that you're on our list, you'll get that information too.
Awesome.
I had actually invited him to be here today so that he could meet you online kind of. But thank you everybody for being here, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.